Time of asking, the second time in 4 races. The car is called Lou, by the way. That's why it says Lou on the roll cage. And Stefano Camini's car is called Trinity. I don't know why. I think the fans actually chose Trinity as a name. Not quite sure where Lou came from. Either way, Frederick Vervisch very happy with a 58-second lap. Much faster, not only, by the way, than our lap record from 2015, but also from when the European touring cars came here just a week or two before, on very different, softer tyres. So these guys are showing their mettle and that they are much, much faster than their European touring car counterparts. Attila Tassi, the Hungarian, for the Mira Motorsport team, trained by Norbert Mikulich, just 17 years of age and focusing on that first corner. He's got Roberto Colciago as a teammate. He absolutely outclassed Roberto in Spa last time out. And he is looking at another very good point-scoring finish. The focus for Attila Tassi is about scoring points at every race. He's not going to get his elbows out. He's not going to get in too much trouble if he can avoid it. It's about consistently scoring, and that's the advice from the very level-headed Norbert Mikulich. There is David Kajaya. And obviously the whole of Georgia will be watching, seeing how the Alfa Romeo can get on from 4th position. There is Matto Homola in the Opel. Picked up 1 point for 5th position. He's actually had a pole position in Bahrain. But Matto is yet to score any points in race conditions, and the Opel is the only brand yet to have a win in the series. We've got 5 different brands in the 6 races we've had so far. Just Alfa Romeo with 2 victories with Borkovic and Kajaya. We've had different winners in every single race of the 6 rounds that we've seen: Georgia, Bahrain and Spa. There is Pepe Oriola, always there and thereabouts, and he's taken a victory at the start of the season as well for Seat. 6th, 7th position for J.K. Vinay, laden with weight after his success in Spa. This is about damage limitation this weekend for the Volkswagen. It's not the best aerodynamic car in the field. The Hondas certainly win that one. And so JK knew that this was going to be a hard weekend, not only with the weight, but also the aerodynamics of the Volkswagen Golf. Much, much better in technical circuits, and therefore along the straights does struggle. Look at the grid: Vervisch, Colciago, Tassi, Kajaya, Matto Homola, and Pepe Oriola. So that is Audi, Honda, Alfa Romeo, and then Opel. Then Pepe Oriola is Seat, Volkswagen for Vinay, Audi for Camini, and then James Nash and Hugo Valente in 9th and 10th, Van Lagen 11th, and Fitzer in 12th position. And then down to the back half of the field that didn't even get into Q2, Morbidelli, Altoe, Borkovic down in 15th position. Watch out for him, last of the late breakers. And then some of our drivers that have entered into the European Trophy. They have to qualify, they have to do 4 European events to qualify into the end of season finale. If you race full time in the International Series, you're not allowed to take part in the end of season finale. But anybody who races in a national series or does 4 races in the European rounds of the International, if that makes sense, can qualify. Formation lap. 22 degrees out on circuit, therefore we don't have to do too much weaving to get temperature into the tyres. As you can see, Vervisch very, very careful not to overuse the tyres. Now, tyre degradation, as I spoke a little bit about in practice, is not that bad here. So we won't see the tyres going off too much. We just need to know that the brakes are going to work into that first corner, and when you fling the car sideways, the rear sticks, because of course, front-wheel drive, the rears don't do anything other than basically support the car. So you have to really throw the car sideways, and you can see the Seats are a bit more aggressive with their tyre warming. Those rear tyres, you can spin up the fronts, you can turn the car with the fronts, and that creates a lot of temperature. And obviously the fronts have got big brakes as well, and that helps build the temperature in the front tyres. But the rear brakes, as you would expect on any of these road-going version cars, they're quite small really, and therefore the temperature doesn't build in them. The wheels create quite a lot of air to dissipate that heat. and therefore the heat doesn't get into the rim, and therefore it doesn't get into the tyre. So it is quite hard to get those rears up to temperature, and Stefano Camini, a double dab of the brakes to get the rears sliding. Just to know that when he goes through Curva Grande, he's got that rear left tyre where he wants it to be. The rear left does take a bit of a battering, obviously with the Parabolica as well being a long right-hander. Rear left is leaned on a little bit, quite as much as the front left tyre though. So just a reminder then, 6 different winners out of 6 races that we've had so far. Kajaya won the first one in Georgia, in his hometown, the first time we've seen racing in Georgia before, so that was popular. Pepe Arreola won the second race there, and then Honda's Roberto Colciago won in front of the F1 fans in Bahrain, as did Dusan Borkovic, meaning the Alfa Romeo has taken 2 victories, its first 2 victories ever, and they're both in the International Series, and therefore the most successful brand this season so far. Stefano Camini took victory in race 1 in Spa in the Audi, and then the Volkswagen of John Calvernet took the second victory, which means 5 brands in 6 races and 6 different winners. In the top 7, only Attila Tassi has yet to score a victory, but he's been consistent with his point scoring. He's not retired, and therefore sits 3rd position in the point standings. So we're going to have 11 laps of the race, and let's just see what happens when they get down to that first corner. Just a reminder, the circuit names for you: the Rettifilo, the first corner, Curva Grande, that long right-hander, and then you've got the Ascari chicane just at the back here, and Parabolica. Nice to have names at the race circuit rather than turn numbers, but as I said in qualifying, the engineers will use those turn numbers as a way to communicate between them. There is Stefano Camini, champion in 2015, the first year of the TCR International Series aboard a Seat, and last year champion aboard a Leopard Volkswagen. And so 3 different brands in 3 years for Stefano Camini. And doesn't that Audi look wonderful? Fantastic to see. And great to have support from the Audi group. Once again here, the famous red gilets that you see in anywhere that Audi are racing, whether it be in the GT3 category or whether it be when they were racing in LMP1. That presence is always there, and it's always an ominous presence, but fantastic to have them here to support, and obviously celebrating their first victory in the International Series, last time out in Spa with Stefano Camini. Now focuses on Frederick Vervisch, who is not here to help Stefano win the title, he's here to help Come To You win the title. And therefore, as every teammate, you know, the first rule is not to knock him off, but he is here to do his own race. If you speak to Jaap van Lagen, or we spoke to Rob Huff last time out, they're very much here to help Jean Calvernet win the championship, and therefore will do everything they possibly can to help him win. But with Vervisch, he's on pole position. He didn't tow Camini round. He did that all on his own without a slipstream, which was amazing. And there he is with a clean track ahead of him, and Colciago, the Italian, to his right. Green flag at the back. Just a short lights, and we will be racing here, waiting for them to come on. And here we go. Who's made the best start? The Hondas are always fantastic at starting, and Attila Tassi once again looks like he's made a good start. He's going to tuck in behind his teammate as they head down towards the first turn, and Colciago is in the lead ahead of Attila Tassi, but Tassi looks like he feels like he's going to run further back. It looks like Morbidelli trying to get on the inside of one of the bamboos. Oh, Colciago's run deep. Oh, and Homola's been put into a spin, and there's a bit of collision, and it looks like Stefano Camini has been involved in that. Camini looks like he may be last position, and the 2 Hondas are putting each other on the grass there in second position. Vervisch trying to get back ahead of Tassi after he was slowed going through the first chicane, and now they head down towards the second. Vervisch very, very, very deep into the turn. Tassi trying to defend, but Vervisch has an overlap, cannot find a way through, and backs into David Kajaya, who is there in 4th position. Altoe in the gravel. That's such a shame for the young Italian. So much support here for Altoe. His parents here as well. Doesn't live too far away from Monza, just a couple of 100 kilometers away. and he's ended his race, I think, in the Curva Grande gravel trap. So we've got yellow flags out. And I think they may be of damage from the first chicane. I don't know exactly what happened there. We'll have a replay a bit later on. But it is Colciago from Tassi, Vavish in third position, then Kajaya, and then who's the first of our Seats going through shot? It is, looks like Oriola to me. It is Oriola, so he's the first of Seats, then Jean Calvinet, and then James Nash. So it was Hugo Valente who has been delayed a little bit into the Parabolica, bit of defending once again. Vavish looks so strong in that Audi. And it's all going to be about the slipstream down the start, finishing straight and into the first corner. Kajaya has got a good run on the RS3. Can't go to the inside, not allowed to overtake over that white line. So Vavish can sit on the white line and knows that Kajaya will not be allowed to go to the inside. But look at them all blocking, and Tassi's got a run on his teammate Colciago to try and go around the outside, but Colciago holds the inside line. What about Pepe Oriola around the outside of the Alfa? The Alfa goes to the inside of Vavish, tips him into a spin, chaos ensues, and Oriola's up into second position, although Jean Calvinet has certainly taken advantage by cutting across the chicane. He's going to have to give at least 2 positions back. Double wave yellows through the Curva Grande. And so they all have to back off, and no overtaking through there. But looks like Hugo Valente was kind of halfway through an overtaking move there. Anyway, Colciago and Tassi into the first chicane. Colciago really being pushed by his little Hungarian teammate. Fantastic to see Attila Tassi putting so much pressure on him. I'd love to see what happened at the start there again, because we've got Camini down in 18th position, Altoe in 19th position, and Homola down in 15th spot. I'm sure we'll get a replay of all that's been going on. Where is the Alpha of Kajaya? Has he got damage? I think he may well do. Kajaya has dropped off that tail. Borkovic is now the first of the Alphas. Such a shame. And we look further back, there is Pierre-Yves Courtals in the other Opel. Here's a replay of the start then. And Altoe goes to the inside, presumably to avoid somebody, comes back onto the circuit. Now watch in the middle of the pack. Who was it? Homola's trying to go around the outside of Oriola. Bit of a kiss there. He turns in and then loses the back end. Spins across Morbidelli, and then spins across Camini and slows Altoe. So then through the Curva Grande and into the second chicane. Somewhere appearing from the right-hand side will be Altoe. And this was the lap after. Kajaya to the inside of Vavish. Baff on the right corner, and that's surely damaged the little Alpha. In fact, we've got a Seat also stopped, so Poulsen has stopped somewhere, which is a big shame. And unsurprisingly, Kajaya is under investigation for that assault on Vavish. Vavish is just outside the points now. Yellow flag still flying at the Curva Grande, so they haven't quite managed to remove Toe's car. We've still got plenty of laps to go. Still, Attila Tassi locked to the back of Roberto Colciago. Got to say, the Hondas look good here. Can't believe Pepe will be amazed at his luck here. The cars have just been cleared in front of him. And we now have the Spaniard in third position, Venet fourth, Nash fifth, Van Lagen up to 6th spot, and then Ferenc Fitzer is in that white and Dayglow red Seat. Different colour scheme to what we saw in Spa, because that car is actually a different car. Being run by the Zelle racing team this weekend, as he was in Bahrain and in Georgia. It was Zengo who were running them in Spa, and we expect to see Zengo back at the next race, which is Salzburg in a couple of weeks' time. Hugo Valente looking strong through the Ascari chicane, got onto the back there of Ferenc Fitzer. And Fitzer's locked to the inside line now, so he's going to have to go to the outside if he wants to try and find a way through, Hugo. Third of the Craft Bamboo Seats, turns in, Fitzer's still there. Fitzer can now just run him wide, easy peasy. Little bit of contact, little bit of banging. And Dusan Borkovic is behind them, watching, hoping that he can pick up a few more points here. The Alfa Romeo is super strong down the straight. Sits in the slipstream. And fantastic to see, actually, that it's not that much stronger. It's pretty balanced between those two brands. And that is credit. Oh, Jaap van Lagen hits James Nash. Fitzer goes off on circuit. Van Lagen loses a rear end as well there. And what's happening now? Vavish trying to recover. He's got past Dusan Borkovic. So there must be something on the ground there, because that's very, very strange. Contact again from Hugo Valente on Frederik Vavish. And Borkovic is completely locked to the back of the Audi. Fantastic to see. He's going to have the inside line for the next chicane. Nothing that Hugo Valente can do about this. Nash loses the rear again under braking. Borkovic looks to the inside of... oh, come on. What is going on, boys? Behave. Oh, that car does not look happy at all. Lots of smoke coming off the Audi. Loads of tyre rubbing. And that rear tyre is going to go pop if Frederik Vavish is not careful. And he doesn't want it to go pop at a place where it's super fast. Again, he goes wide. Lots of cutting through the first chicane. Lots of advantage being given by certain people. But Vavish is certainly not going to take advantage overall. Right, what are we seeing here then? Jaap van Lagen goes to the inside of Nash, taps Nash, and Fitzer just decides not to turn and takes a huge advantage. And then Vavish has gone past Borkovic, a little rub there, and then a much bigger rub afterwards, and then again jumps across the chicane at the next turn, and they have to go to the left-hand side there. There's actually kind of a slip road that they need to take. Was that Van Lagen going slowly? Maybe it was. We're going to have a lot of chaos by the end of this race, aren't we? We're going to lose loads of cars. Either way, at the front of the field, very well behaved between Roberto Colciago and Attila Tassi. Tassi flashing his lights, I don't know why, because Colciago's to the inside of him and wouldn't have even seen that. And of course, Tassi needs to be careful. These two are just fighting for the championship as well. Either way, it'd be great to have Tassi on the top step of the podium. He's never won a TCR International Series race, having debuted at the start of last year. And here's this battle for the outskirts of the top 10, with Nash ahead of Vavish. Somehow that smoking has stopped, so whatever was rubbing on the rear tyre of Vavish has stopped rubbing, and hopefully that means that it's the tyre isn't weakened, and it will survive the rest of this race. Vavish to the inside of James Nash. That is going to happen, but he's going to run wide again. Now, is that advantage? Nash goes defensive on Dusan Borkovic. Contact between the two of them. Borkovic still has the inside line, and they've lost positions to Hugo Valente. Track limits to 55, and that is Fritz Fitzer. Okay. James Nash still defending from Dusan Borkovic. This is a real proper touring car race, isn't it? Elbows out. Temperatures rising in the cockpit, all bits of car falling off from James Nash. Whether that was helped by Dusan Borkovic, I'm not sure, but here comes Matto Homola to the outside in the Opel. Can he go around the outside of Borkovic? I doubt it, not through Ascari. He's going to have to slot into line and think of a different way to try and get past. What a shame that Matto got caught up in that first lap accident. Where are they? They are really on the outskirts. They are fighting over the last scraps of points. Vavish is in 6th, then Valente, then Nash, then Borkovic to the inside of Homola. Homola's not going to get around the outside there either. Keeps finding himself on the wrong part of the circuit, doesn't he, Matto? And actually opening the door to Gianni Morbidelli. Wow! Great front-end grip from Gianni Morbidelli, drives clean past Matto Homola, and now has a run on Dusan Borkovic as well, and probably could take advantage of James Nash. 3 wide over the start-finishing line. This is Monza, this is slipstreaming, and we're going to try and go 4 wide with Stefano Camini. That would be silly, Stefano. James Nash somehow holds on to the position. They all wiggle through the chicane. Oh, and contact between Borkovic and Morbidelli. Ah, oh, come on, boys. Well, that was so much fun. You've ruined it. So those two now, I guess, out of the points. Homola into the points. And Camini picking up positions after that disaster of the first turn. Here are those Hondas again. They are behaving. Hummler still just ahead of James Nash. Nash not feeling very well when I spoke to him this morning. Feeling pretty weak, feeling pretty tired. Got a cold, doesn't sound like he's very well at all, in fact. And let's have a look here. Borkovic down the inside of Morbidelli. Clear punt there. Puts him into a spin and really just slows the both of them down. And unsurprisingly, the stewards have seen that and they're going to investigate that one as well. So hold your horses, people. This result is definitely going to be provisional for a few hours. Keep in touch with our social media channels to find out the actual result when the stewards have sat down with these drivers and worked out what on earth was going on. They all got rather hot. Oh, come on, Stefano, you can't do that. Stefano, they've all been warned about track limits. That's track limits as well, by the way, when you go 4 wheels off at the exit of Ascari, and you can't cut a turn by going 4 wheels on the inside either. Camini had the run on James Nash, now tries to go all the way around the outside, but Nash again can just kind of run him wide. Gives him enough space, but Camini has to go 4 wheels off, and there's a bit of touching as well as they exit the corner. Camini's held on and gone all the way around the outside, across the line. This is for, 9th and 10th position. And now the relative speed of Seat and Audi, side by side. They've actually got the same engine, interestingly. They share the same parts. And Nash is going to have the inside line at the chicane. Is he? Just about. Bit of contact between the two of them. Stefano manages to muscle the car around the corner so he doesn't cut it. And of course that's invited Borkovic and Morbidelli into the fray as well. All for 9th position. Borkovic to the inside through the Curva Grande because Nash was compromised in the speed coming out of the first chicane. And now Borkovic gets himself onto the podium, onto the point scoring positions. And Morbidelli looking at Nash. Oh, he's been in the wars, poor James. Or you just want to get into a rhythm and just start putting in consistent times, consistently put your car in the right position. That's what these guys at the front are doing. But when you're under assault, like James Nash is, it's really, really hard to find that rhythm. Kajar is still running, by the way, so he just dropped down to 13th position. You can see at the back there. And he has got past Pierre-Yves Cortals. Morbidelli has a run. Looking to try and find a way past Nash, who's on the defensive once again. Now through Ascari chicane. Really great to see how the dynamics of a car works there. That middle part of the chicane that's kind of an acceleration zone. The cars really sit on one side or the other. Now through the Parabolica. Stefano running that line in qualifying. We saw him doing that. That's exactly allowed. Just about 2 wheels on the track. Right, 3 laps to go. Can Attila Tassi find a way past his Italian teammate? Roberto Colciago came to the weekend with real back problems, and bouncing over the curbs has not helped him whatsoever. He said he didn't even expect to be racing, and yet he is leading and looking to perhaps take his 2nd victory on the TCR International Series this season, to add to his 1 victory in Malaysia last year. Side by side for James Nash and Gianni Morbidelli. This is not for points, this is outside the points now. And Morbidelli just pushing Nash onto the cross, and that's enough to get past him. Borkovic has got ahead, so Borkovic back into the points now in 10th spot. But of course, we've got investigations ongoing. What can the little Alfa Romeo do to get past Stefano Camini? It's been quite well behaved in the top 5 now for a few laps, but there's still some nasty driving earlier on. James Nash is going to need a rear bumper. The boys will be getting that one ready at Bamboo. Looks a bit of a mess. Here are the Hondas then. Whoa, big curb hop from Colciago. They are teammates, those two, at Mira Motorsport. And hello to everyone in Budapest watching. Thanks for joining us. I think actually there's qualifying for Norby at the moment, so he won't be joining us. He'll have to watch it on catch-up on online. But Norbert Mikulis is the owner of the Mira team. And one of the main reasons why Attila Tassi is part of the team. Lots of help from Yas Motorsport, who build this Honda. For the moment, not a huge amount of support from Honda themselves, but looking forward to the future where they will add to their involvement. Look at the slipstream effect down this front straightaway. Attila Tassi certainly has the advantage in the slipstream, and Colciago is starting to back Tassi up into the Seat of Pepe Oriola. That is worrying. All well and good, those guys staying line astern, picking up decent points. Not good if you give the opportunity to Pepe Oriola to get past. Oriola will be very chuffed to be back on the podium. He's only been on the podium once this season, and that was his victory at the first round in Georgia, which was, what, early part of April? It's been a few months. But kept his head clean in those first couple of laps as Borkovic challenges Stefano Camini. Trying to find a way through. For the moment, no way past. Borkovic, we've seen over the years, so good under brakes. And this little Alfa does move around a lot, so when he is good on the brakes, you can see it. The Audi looks much more stable. Longer wheelbase, of course. Bigger car in general, you can see. Oh, Tassi's made a mistake. Oriola's up into second position. What has happened there? Tassi looked as though he was challenging for the lead half a lap ago, and here it is. Run wide. Ah, no. Into the gravel trap. Comes out of the throttle. J.K. Venet behind doing the same thing, and the car got spat out sideways onto the track, so couldn't keep the momentum, and Oriola's into second spot. Wow. Good support for Pepe this weekend as well, from his family who are here. Oh, Attila Tassi. Going to kick himself. He was so frustrated with himself in Spa, where he gave away 2 positions in the last lap by running wide at Pouhon. And he's kind of repeated it here around the back of the circuit. Oriola trying to shape the toe there by kind of meandering down the start-finish straight. And Borkovic not quite close enough to pick up the slipstream. Still in 10th position, last of the point scorers. Still 4th in the, well, going into the race was 4th in the championship, but it's so tight. Right, now Tassi looking to try and find a way past Oriola. Needs to remember to collect the points and not find himself completely destroying himself. Tavik Kajaya into the pits and out of the race. It was clear that there was going to be a problem with the car. I can tell you also, Pierre-Yves Courtals is in the pits as well. We've lost Van Lagen. We see that? I don't think we saw that. Van Lagen is out of the race, and Altoe we did see out of the race. So just one Leopard car. There he is at the back of shot. And Jean-Carl Venet will also be very happy with 4th position. 1.5 laps remaining. Colciago still in the lead, and now without pressure, he doesn't have to look at his mirrors and doesn't have to worry too much about what his teammate's up to, because Attila Tassi is now in 3rd position, just misses the apex slightly, the ideal racing line through the Ascari chicane. But it's a slipstream down the main straight that's where Attila Tassi is going to be hoping to try and find a way through. Coming onto the start-finishing line then for the final time. Honda, Seat, Honda. Volkswagen in 4th position, and then Seat in 5th. And Tassi's not close enough to pick up a slipstream from Pepe Oriola, but he might try it on the brakes. Oriola's wise to it, puts the car in the middle of the circuit. Now tries to get back onto the racing line, but Tassi was already there. And that was the best opportunity, now missed. Still, podium and 3rd position is pretty good for Tassi. Repeats what he did in Spa a couple of weeks ago. Oh, is that a puncture for Pepe Oriola, or is that just bodywork? Either way, Tassi's got the run on him. Tassi to the outside, though, into the chicane. Is that slowing Oriola up? It is. Tassi's got past him again. Wow, drama in the final lap here. Oh, understeer from Tassi, but understeer from Oriola. And if actually Oriola dips the car into the gravel like that, whatever is rubbing on his rear tyre might well free itself. It is, I think, just a bumper again, like we saw with Vavish earlier on. You can see that it's slightly moved. Oh, we didn't see contact between the two of them, did we, in the braking zone? If it was very, very light. Either way, just a couple of corners to go. And can Jean Calvinet capitalise on this? That would be an amazing surprise. The Frenchman basically said, top 10, we'll try. Don't think we're going to get much out of this weekend, and he's nearly on the podium. Through the Ascari chicane. Yeah, it looks like it's calmed down for Pepe Oriola, but he's lost that position again. Great racing at the front of the field, lots of respect. Can't say the same for the guys further back. But we're coming towards the final turn here. Jean Calvinet may try something. He's really, really close, but not quite close enough, as there's change between Vavish and Fitzer, I think, for 5th position. Just in the back, a shot there. Either way, Fitzer's held on, by the way. The checker flag is flying for Roberto Colciago, Italian victor, with Tassi in second, and Oriola just holds on ahead of Venet. Fitzer ahead of Vavish, and then a rather battled Seat of Hugo Valente. Homola picks up his first points in a race situation. Camini, Borkovic and Morbidelli. But the Italian national anthem is going to fly on this wonderful podium here in Monza, and Roberto Colciago becomes the first double victor of the season, and cleanly. And Mira don't have a huge amount of work to do, thankfully, when they get back to the garage. Maybe a few scrubs of rubber to wipe off the front of Attila Tassi's car. And I'm interested to see the kind of body language between Oriola and Tassi at the end of the race. For me, they were very fair, but they kind of seem to be racing themselves back to the pit lane. They're not taking this slow down lap very slowly. And there might be a bit of frustration. So this was Tassi running wide, understeering off into the gravel. Keeps his foot in, as you should do in a front-wheel drive, but he just catches a bump here, there, and it spits the car sideways, and that's what rubs off the speed. That's where he had to get out the throttle, and that's what allowed Pepe Oriola past. But then Oriola had some kind of problem going through Curva Grande. It'll be interesting to see if we can pick up anything of their discussions. Jean Calvinet will hold on to the championship lead, no doubt. I don't think it actually could have lost it. Such was his advantage after Spa. But as I said before, keep an eye out on our social media channels over the next couple of hours, because there was a couple of accidents and incidents under investigation, and they will be sorted out post-race. And David Kajaya, one of those drivers that needs to go and speak to our race directors and our race stewards and explain himself. Marshall just trying to put the cars. Oh no, I don't think he's got that right. Colciago, Tassi, Oriola, Venet, Fitzer, Vavish, Valente, Homola, Camini and Borkovic, the point scorers. And those that didn't score: Morbidelli, James Nash will be very disappointed to be in 12th. Poulsen, Moller, Capillari, and then the retirees: Kajaya, Cortals, Jaap van Lagen, and Altoe. But there is the victor, Roberto Colciago. Now our paddock, by the way, is on the back of that straight, so that's why there was a marshal standing in the middle of the circuit, trying to get the rest of the cars into their paddock. But there's a mini parc fermé under the podium, where the front 3 cars should end up. So that'll be Oriola, Tassi and Colciago. There is Pepe Oriola. A 1-2 for Honda. And it means that they are the most successful in terms of race victories, or they equal Alfa Romeo in terms of race victories this season. Brings their tally up to 17 wins. And the second win for Colciago. 3 wins now in total for the Italian. Oh, and there's Oriola talking to Tassi. I don't know if that's a shaking the hand or is that an angry Spaniard? No, not sure. Not quite sure if Oriola is very happy and being respectable, or whether he was frustrated with Tassi. For a man who didn't think he was going to be racing this weekend, fantastic to have Roberto Colciago on the top step of the podium, and he'll want a nice big massage after that. You can see that his body looks a little tired, doesn't it? I'm still trying to spot what's going on. Tassi seems to be walking away from Oriola, so they're not having friendly bants, that's for sure. I don't know why, though. It didn't seem that much of a problem. Here is the classification after that first race, then. Venet still leads. Colciago up into second, ahead of Tassi in third, which means Stefano Comini's dropped to fourth position. Then Oriola, Borkovic and Kajaya just missing out every opportunity. Qualifies so well and then makes some kind of big error in the races. Very frustrating, because we all want to see the Alfa Romeo doing very well. Let's get down then to speak to our victor, a very happy Italian, Roberto Colciago.
Roberto, you won in Bahrain, you've now won at home. Congratulations.
Yeah, here was really difficult because with the toe and the steam trimming it was not possible to pull away because it's a lot of different. But I'm happy because also Attila was second. It was a really good race for us, for Mira team.
You told me after qualifying that your back was really bad. How did you cope?
I'm still the same when I jump out of the car. When I'm sitting down, I don't feel the pain, but now I really feel.
Okay, we'll let you go. Well done.
Thank you very much.
So a quick look then at the drivers getting ready for the start of the race, and we can maybe unstitch some of the things that might have happened. The start then. A good start as we come to expect from the Hondas. Colciago made a good start, but Tassi made a better one from third position. Vavish was desperate to try and defend it, but there was just no chance to defend it going into the first corner. And then Oriola touched Mato Homola. Homola then turned in, lost the rear end there. Somehow Oriola managed to make it through, but Homola collected Comini and Morbidelli. We lost Altoe at some point around this bit because he ended up in that gravel trap. There he is. I can't quite see there if he had a puncture. Van Lagen switching to the inside gave Nash a punt, and then we had all sorts of chaos. Borkovic had lost the rear end there, hadn't he? So Vavish tries to go to the inside. Then there's a bit of contact between the two of them, and then more contact as Valente tries to shut the door and realises that Vavish is there too. And that continued for a bit. 3 wide over the start finishing line, ended up to being 4 wide. Look at the slipstream that Vavish gets here. Or is that Comini? That was Comini, just miles faster than everyone else, desperately trying to make it 4 wide, and then going through the chicane. Bit of contact from everyone, really. And Borkovic got into Gianni Morbidelli there. Big moment for Attila Tassi, running wide, bouncing over the gravel, and then Oriola managed to snatch his second position, but then something happened, maybe at the end of this straight. And there is Kajaya jumping out. Yeah, we had smoke, and then Tassi was easily able to drive past going through the Curva Grande. So for some reason, Oriola lost a bit of speed there, but difficult to know why. The checker flag flew for Roberto Colciago, and Honda grabs a 1-2 here in Italy. Remember, Yas Motorsport, who build these cars, are Italian as well. So plenty of celebrations down at Mira later on. A wonderful view of the Parkland circuit here in Monza. Let's get the podium celebrations underway then. Pepe Oriola jumps onto the third step of the podium, and I would be more smiley if I was him. Attila Tassi looks happy, goes over to shake the hand of Pepe Oriola. That was all right, wasn't it? And Roberto Colciago, the third man. And now the Italian national anthem. Happy to see the Pommery logos. And Gabriele Tarquini's here. Way, look at that. Hyundai's TCR test driver hands a trophy to another Italian. And Tarquini then the team trophy to Mira Motorsport, a mix between Hungarian and Italians, and doing an amazing job. And they are training this young man up to be the next Norbert Michelisz. Attila Tassi had a really shaky start to his career at the start of last year, but now sits very much firmly in the top end of the podium. And Pepe Ariola, who's raced alongside Gabriele Tarquini many times, picks up the podium for that. I wonder if Gabriele's ever done that before. Has he ever actually presented trophies rather than receiving them? Either way, a Yas Motorsport 1-2, Honda, victory. And just a couple of photos. And then Romano's going to have to leg it because he doesn't want to get covered in champagne. And he does indeed. That is the wonderful podium we have here. Ariola gives the team a bit of a shower down below. It's a hot day today, so they'll appreciate that. And we're going to have an amazing second race because that was pretty good. And we've got all the championship contenders and all the strong players at the front of the race 2 field, which is at 10:45 local time tomorrow morning. So plenty of time to get the cars repaired after the various bangs and prangs that they had. And there we go. Mira Motorsport as the team, Yas Motorsport as the constructor of the Honda. Honda indeed, and an Italian on the top step of the podium. Fantastic, fantastic result. Thank you for joining us.